we're still in the research stage, and what I wanted to do is just give you some tips specifically around when you're interacting with your interviewees and individuals, because ultimately through ethnographic study it is a deep study of human behavior. And I wanted to talk around the 4 qualities of empathy. Now what I've done is I've attached Brené Brown's video next after this for you to have a look and watch through the differences between empathy and sympathy. And as we go through the process of gathering data, you would probably use an empathy map that we can, as we understand certain things, extract information from individuals that are part of the research plan. We would then drop it into an empathy map. So, for example, I could read a diary study. I could read a day in the life of. I could have a look at a love letter or a breakup letter, which are all tools that are part of the research stage. And from those I could actually fill out an empathy map. Now, the mistake that we often find is that people fill in an empathy map based upon their own emotions and feelings, or based on what they think somebody is feeling, whereas the empathy map must have the context of the customer or the person that you're actually interacting with. So through a variety of the other techniques that we'll go through, that's the point, is for us to, number one, ensure that we take their perspective, all right, not our own. We can bring a lot of biases to the table, and we need to put those biases aside. So there's a bias exercise where we want to write them down and put them down before we go on an interview. So effectively write all your biases down, go and conduct a few interview questions and come back, and most of the times you'll see that you've conducted the interview and you've run it in such a way as to confirm your biases and your own assumptions before you intend. In other words, you guided the questions in such a way. And that's not really a true empathetic approach. So it's quite a skill to be able to ask your questions in the right manner as to not carry your biases across. And that's really the staying out of judgment piece. And really, ultimately, the true ethnographic nature of this is for us to understand the emotion that's sitting in the people, and being able to empathize with them and communicate with them at a level that they feel comfortable to open up and share with you. No easy feat in today's world, where people have built a number of barriers up as you interact with them, and they've got all their defenses, and you need to be able to work through those with some very well pointed and orchestrated questions. All right, so we want to take an empathetic perspective, and you need to be able to explore these questions. It's not what you think, it's not what you feel and hear, it's what they think, feel, hear, and see, and say, and do. All right. So, you have to put yourself in their shoes when you fill out that empathy map, when you're listening to a recording of some activity that they've gone through, when you're reading their breakup letter or their diary, all of those things, you have to put yourself in their shoes. And that's why an understanding and framing the problem as well as the context is quite important. Now, ethnographic research, well, there it is, a definition: a systematic study of people and cultures. Human-centered design research is strongly influenced and guided by ethnographic research. All right. It's not typical the type of people research that organizations do. All right. It's a lot messier, and there tends to be a very superficial type of research that a lot of human-centered design, IT, requirements, analytical people do. As you try and interact with customers. And I confess, we're not professionals in this. This is all journey. Each culture is different. Each customer is different. Each person we interview is different. So that's why leaving judgment and bias at the door and really putting on an empathy approach is really key to extract those human behaviors. Right? And it takes time. This is the biggest chunk of a design exercise, is the research section. Right, so really that's what we want to do, is we actually want to just collect stories, and we want to guide the questions in such a way that they're free form enough to let people speak their mind on certain stories. Right, that's the challenge for us going ahead. Now also we've got a whole bunch of research types that we're working with. So we've got primary, secondary, and desktop type research. All right, so the primary research is all about us interacting with people. So this is the do, this is the participate, the do and participate, this is the ask, and this is the observation activities. And then the secondary is things that have already occurred, in other words, research papers from research houses and strategic insights and those types of things. And then ultimately stuff that we can actually get from our own research and Googling online. We want to create a nice holistic view of how we tackle research so that we can actually, look at it from a variety of different angles, not just one. So, fine, just doing a whole bunch of desktop research, and you could do that for your first iteration. But I would say that that's not going to get you very far. You're going to find that you're going to be tackling things that are above the waterline. In other words, things that don't necessarily show you the secret levers that you need to pull underneath or below the waterline. All right. I like this quote from Steve Blank. Cheating on customer discovery interviews is like cheating in your parachute packing class. All right, and that's really, I can't even count on hands and toes how many clients I've been into where you'll have all these bright people running workshops in a room and there'll be no customer there, and or we don't speak to the customer. We know what the customer wants. A really naive view, and I see this in big corporations, is there's this fear of bringing a customer into these types of environments. So it's quite a bold move to take. However, I think customers appreciate it when they do come on board. They're excited to be involved with something. Sometimes they're excited to get paid for their contribution, which is always a good thing to do, by the way. But this is really what we want to do, is we want to conduct interactions with a customer where we can really empathize at their level, and you can't do that in a 30-minute interview. That you almost need to start building a relationship with them within a type of co-design environment, continually interviewing them and extracting information from them.